Marshall skips away. Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the TGIF podcast. Thank God it's footy. Back again for another week with the bro beside me. Unfortunately, both our teams not getting the job done, getting the bickies on the weekend. It was a bit of a rough one for both of us.
233 days, I think. I saw something.
Since
the Tigers have last had an NRL win, so could be a few more weeks as well. Until we get, but I did see 3 weeks time we've got the bye, so really looking forward to that.
Looking forward
week.
to banking the 2 points. Yep, we've done that early on.
Storm, then Para, and then the bye. So 3 weeks away. Can't wait. I'll be picking the Tigers to take the 2. Hopefully get another bet in there as well, because it was a poor week for me in terms of the betting. 0 from 9.
Yeah, 0 from 9, and then I was just the 1 from 9. I thought I was on for a good week. Thursday night, the bet came off.
First game, yeah.
Sitting there, Dolphins with the first game on the Fridays, thinking, how good is this?
Right at the last minute.
Zarko scored, they're winning by bloody 10. Last second, scored a try, 13 plus, and then from there, that was pretty much
done and dusted.
the story of the weekend, wasn't it? Yeah, no other bets landing. It was
no King of the Hockey.
No, yeah.
Again, out first. I think first game both had same 180s. I'm pretty sure. I'm thinking maybe we drop it down to 3.
We could
this
do
week. I'll take it. I haven't done it yet actually, so I'll have a look at some stage throughout this and maybe pick one game that I'm a bit uneasy on. I could even have a look to see actually. It could be the same player, I think, maybe in the first game, both weeks, the last week and the week before. So I'll have a look, see what there is, and maybe we drop it down to 3, and we get flights sussed.
Yep.
And then try and win another one maybe in a couple of weeks time, and there's the ACON and
the spending
and the it's probably about it.
Probably all you can really get up to on the road.
Spending and accommodation, so
but
plenty of days on the beach.
Look, one day it's going to be wrangled, and we'll be filming from the beach. Maybe not, but you'll be finding out.
It might be a week off, possibly.
with a good celebration. That's for sure. If that one comes off, but it's probably enough time spent on our failed betting on the week. We'll have a crack in with the NRL and look at the team of the week.
Probably had a bit better fortune than we did over the weekend, and start our team off with a player who's had a huge impact on this team, I think. Always does every time he pulls on the jersey. And Tommy Turbo at the back there had an awesome game, managed to get himself a double.
Yeah, it was a bit of a battle on that Thursday night between the fullbacks who would make the team.
He was
both having really good games.
He was picked by one of the 3 or 4 teams that we looked at, and Turbo and the other ones, and a little bit of a tough one. Joined in the back line there on the wings with Montoya and Paulo there.
Jackson Paulo had a really good game. Yeah.
Hard to put a Warrior in there as always, but the Warriors looked really good, and Montoya again managed to get himself 2, I think it was as well. So 2 pretty handy wingers there.
Well done, Marcello. Yep. Into the centres pairing now. A couple of young throbbers here.
2 blokes that did both our teams.
Broke our hearts a bit. You've got Katoni Staggs with a double up against the Dragons, and Paul Alamotti, the young 19-year-old centre. 19,
managed to set up 2 big full-field tries with that car there. One, I was about to say, calm as a cucumber, cool as a cucumber. Calm as a cucumber, I'd say pretty calm as well.
I think cucumbers are pretty calm, yeah. They're cool, calm and collected.
So, calm as a cucumber. Takes the bomb about 5 metres off the line. Manages to get past a few players and then plays a couple of little 1-2s with that Okar, and he's away. And I think ran for over 200 metres and had an awesome game. Really helped that Doggies team there, I thought. So yeah, like you said, 2 young throbbers in that back line there, and joined in the halves by two other blokes who again had really good games. One who possibly maybe one of the better games of his career in this position at least, and Josh Schuster at 6.
Yeah, he was awesome. He was influential in most of Manly's tries, if not all, I believe there. Really good game. He looks a lot fitter, a little bit trimmer this season.
Yeah, came back from that injury. And he's,
fair enough, like if you're going to be playing the back row, you probably want to put on a bit more beef, and then making the moves into the halves, you probably want to drop a few kegs to give yourself that little bit more agility versus power, I suppose. He looks like he's made that transition very smoothly and had a really good game. Joined in the halves by a man who's been doing it for years. His kicks were terrorising enough for me. I can't imagine how poor Max Fierney and Buddy Tyrell Sloan and Ravel were feeling on the night, but Reno, he had himself a game in that 7 jersey for the Bronx. He just, especially second half, just had us on a string. He just was just moving everyone around, was pumping them through the middle, and then just thought, okay, well, this is the time I'm going to inject Reece Walsh, Ezra Mann, boom, couple of tries from them, and really good game from Reno, I thought.
Pretty nice.
Rounding out the backs there.
Nice finish to the back line there, and having a look at those forwards. 3rd week in a row. Three appearances in the team. Obviously, Carraz was it Carraz? I think we had in there 2 weeks in a row.
Carraz, I think Carraz is actually leading the Dally M's.
Leading the Dally M's, who's at 11. Didn't make it into the team this week, I guess, based off
just on a technicality.
Yeah, slight technicality. We might have missed him, but that's all right. But Payne Haas in there for a 3rd week in a row.
Yeah, I think you can pretty much just set and forget that one.
Yeah, it's a bit like the old fantasy captain. Hey, it's
Payne Haas. He's gonna give you a shitload of runs, a shitload of meters, and when he's bloody causing havoc with a bit of an offload and sets up 2 tries to boot. A heavy Brisbane influence in this team, which is shattering as a Dragons fan, but you gotta take your licks, I suppose, and Payne Haas was licking us all night.
Yep, well and truly. And another bloke there joining him in the front row, and Jared Waerea-Hargreaves, he obviously had an awesome week, but again, we had to get that double barrel in there at some stage.
We did have to get a double barrel in there, but I don't think we had to force this bloke in here. Jared,
not a forced entry into the team, but maybe
a few forwards that were possibly
could have been an honourable, probably a few honourable mentions, I'd say, in terms of this position here.
Jared, I think he changed the game for Roosters. It was 12 or 10-2 when he came on, and they ended up coming away with the 20-18 win, so good on him. Locked in between and locking down that front row with another Warrior.
Unfortunately, but again, you had to put him in here. Wade Egan.
Good game.
He's looked really good for the Warriors these last few weeks, and had an awesome game. Managed to get himself a try as well there. And
did he get knocked out at the end?
I think I'd stopped watching by the end of it.
Right. Maybe it was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I think I might have stopped that game a bit early because of the fact that the Warriors were up by a wee bit.
Yeah, Warriors winning 13 plus up there in Townsville. Not many would have picked that. Well done, Wade Egan.
Then we got 2 blokes here in this second row position who absolute beasts. They love a try. They love a big hit. They love a tackle. They love the ball in their hands.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful to say both their names, but appropriately, they're handfuls on field.
Well and truly.
Handfuls on the field, mouthfuls to say. Kaloa Matangi is one of your second rows there, and Hamole Olakau'atu for second. Bit of a mouthful.
I think you pretty much nailed that one there. I don't know if I would have been dropping the first name in there, I might have made a mistake there.
Keon Kaloa Matangi and Hamole Olakau'atu.
A bit of a stumble there on that.
Yeah, just had to it wasn't as smooth as
But smooth on the day on the footy field. both of these lads.
Smooth customers, big, powerful boys, and yeah,
Both
had
wide
themselves-
obviously had a bit of a field day there at the end of the game.
Scored a try. What? Bloody
Scored two, did he
ripped
not? I think, right at the end of the game.
He might have done. It was helter skelter.
Yeah, it
and
was.
man,
I
Paramount
fell
at the
asleep
end.
while with the old
I
internet
remember
fucked
him
up in the second
jumping
half.
up and bloody ripping one straight out of Gutho's hands, which was a great effort.
I want to check. I'm
I'll
pretty
rip
sure
him
it was
out.
a. Pretty sure it was a
double.
Was a double. I'll have a quick look.
I have a geese
It
here
might be,
actually.
yeah. Maybe not.
You know,
I was winning double, 68th minute and 76th minute. I thought so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Late double there for the old handful / mouthful.
Yeah, so
Amole.
good on both of those blokes. And then, again, unfortunately, finishing our team off with a warrior in the beast that is Tohu Harris.
Yeah, he had another awesome game. 200th game, I
Yep,
believe,
a
up
big
there
one
in
for him.
Townsville. So a big milestone, and yeah, a player who's really at the top of his game. And I'm sure the local fans will be pretty stoked with the way he's been playing this year.
Possibly looking to celebrate this weekend when they come back home, and first Sunday game at home there, so I'm sure they were looking for a big crowd. And
Yeah, well, he was first try scorer that return home game, wasn't he, last year? So look, it's obviously not their return home, but they are returning home again. So we know he's got form in those returning home games. But I guess unfortunate to miss out with a try double in that 13 jumper. Just a quick shout out to the Big Red,
yeah,
Corey Horsburgh.
Corey
He
Horsburgh.
had himself an awesome game
He's
after
He's managed to sneak
as
his way
usual,
into my bets.
managing
this
to
week.
get under the skin of an
You
opposition
see
player there.
that what we saw last night, that bloody green hot dog, all due to that. They've said sell them week in, week out. You scored a bloody double when you're selling them. Big green bun,
With a 12-inch dog slapped in the
huge
middle.
dog slapped in the middle, big one, with this green bun, and it's
Big red
possibly
dog.
not appealing to the eye, but you'd eat it.
It's probably appealing to the stomach
Yeah.
of the Raiders fans.
I'm sure you'd eat it. That's for
Especially
sure.
the fans of the Big Red. But yeah, that's probably about it for the team of the week.
Rounds off the team. Another juicy looking team there.
As we always say, they'd go well if we chuck them in as
Yeah,
the
well and truly.
now 18th team.
Might struggle with no interchange there, but apart from that, I think they do pretty well. But probably time to take a look at the games that we've got to get into over this next week.
Coming
and again, third Thursday night game of 4, I believe, for the Eels here, coming up against Penrith.
Big game.
Yeah.
Another Thursday night banger that they've managed to chuck into the schedule. They always seem to.
Yeah, I think that's possibly
Make it a
why they
decent
chuck
game.
power in there. Get those, they're always, I guess when you're playing someone like Parrot, they're always up against someone out there in the top 4 or the area with them. They seem to do well against those better teams. So it's, possibly again, smart scheduling there by the blokes there at the NRL. But yeah, really big game, and I think a big game for Para more than it is for Penrith.
Yeah, huge pressure after going 0-3.
Yep, joining
Last
us down
week.
there in the cellar.
Yeah.
But Penrith snapped that losing streak, obviously.
Yeah, snapped their little losing streak. What was it, 2 games they lost? So
Yeah, not really a losing streak, I guess, but for
I guess for Penrith it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they're fresh off the back of a bye as well, so that makes it doubly tough for Parramatta there, I think.
They
But
then play the Roosters next week
fresh off
off
a
the
bye.
back of the bye as well. So a little bit tough, I think, for Para. Possibly, maybe, like we said a little bit earlier, but maybe a little bit unlucky to not come away with a win there in that helter-skelter finish.
They've lost by 4 points in all 3 games.
Yep.
So it's not as if they're getting blown off the park, but last 2 weeks they've conceded 30.
Yeah, so it's not
So
good.
that's
It's not that good
pretty worrying.
defensively.
Yeah, and if you're coming up against a side like Penrith, you don't want to be...
Yeah, they might be
You don't want to be
struggling to
tackling
win
like that.
32-30. I think
Oh,
that could,
shit,
I
yeah.
don't see Penrith conceding 32 points
God, no.
to lose a game. Obviously,
Grand
Seeing-
final rematch,
seeing the
obviously.
Storm do that, obviously, against the Titans. But yeah, huge game. Like you said, grand final rematch, and it's the first time we get to see these two since the grand final.
Yeah,
A few players come to join us from both teams. A few players, new into the lineup there, but nothing's changed too much, apart from the fact, I guess, that Power are out of form and Penrith possibly coming back into it.
Yeah, I don't think form plays a huge part in a game like this, regardless. I mean, it's a big rivalry out west as it is, and as poor as Parramatta have been going 0-3, like I said, they've only lost by 4 each week, and I don't see this one being much more than a 4-point win for Penrith if Parramatta can turn up on the night.
Yeah.
But then, Penrith, do we really see them losing more than a couple of games in a season? They've already lost one. I don't see them blowing out their quota too early on in the season.
Yeah.
They'll probably come out ready to go on this one, and Parramatta at home.
It's going to
makes
be
it a 50-50 one, I reckon.
It's going to be close, I think. I see with both. Now, quick disclaimer, actually. At the time of recording, at this present time right now, no try scorer. Well, actually, that could be a lie. Some try scorer markets may be out for some games, but we did this last week and they were being uploaded at the time, and we don't really want to be waiting too long. So there is a chance that we may be producing the odds at a later date. But we have a quick check here now, whether or not the try scorer
is only for this game.
Just for this game. So it works, because at least this is one of the games where you've got it in there. Now, I've just gone Penrith 1-12. Like I said, it's probably going to be quite tight. It's going to get you 275 there, I believe, is it?
275,
yeah. 275. This bloke here, he's Chuck Crichton involved in the mix.
Stephen Crichton, to cross the stripe. I think he's crossed the stripe.
Yeah.
Both weeks, because Penrith haven't played 3 weeks. In their first game there, scored a great try, and then up against South, scored another great try. So he's in try scoring form, loves a big game, and
7-12.
Bit more value involved in those wingers, drives me up to $7.12. Yeah,
7-12, it's tasty. A little bit more than that, 2.75 there, but your bet comes off, my one does too, so I'm happy regardless.
Yeah, we're just looking to chip back at that
the deficit,
and
I'm in the
Optic comes along.
I was about to say I'm in the loss. I'm not in the loss. You're in the lead, and I'm falling behind a little bit, so I've got to pick it up a bit.
That's alright, it's a long season.
And I think I've probably gone and fucked it with this next game now. Melbourne up against West to start off your Friday night footy. Not a game I'm that overly excited for, I must say. Melbourne coming off a loss, obviously, on the weekend there. A bit of a shock. Maybe a shock loss, I guess, yeah. Conceding a fuck ton of points.
Oh, yeah.
More than we did, that's for sure. Don't know by how many, 16? By 16 maybe, by 14, 12?
What are they? Conceded 38 and you conceded
26.
26.
So yeah, 12. It's... You never really want to be playing Melbourne, and I think when you're playing Melbourne after they've gone out and conceded that many points, 38 points, I can't imagine Bellamy's going to be too happy with them, and I don't see them doing something similar again this week. Now, I think, I want to say lucky to get back into the game. A couple of little moments of brilliance, I think, in the latest stages of the game there, where we managed to score 3 and 4 minutes. And because of that, we've seen a slight change in the lineup for this week, with Wakeham managing to get a start and Dewey moving to the fullback position, and everyone having a bit of a switch around, and Nofaluma the one to, I guess, take the expense there of that one, and falls off to the reserves. Don't know how I feel about it just yet. I mean, I'd rather, I think eventually, if that is the case, see Laurie there at the one, and possibly Dewey just in there at the centres, and but rough on Kepaoa, he just drops off to that interchange there, and if we need to have someone come on in the back, he can, and if not, he's jamming in there in the second row and doing his work. Yeah, rough one. I can't say I'm overly excited for this.
Yeah, I guess both sides aren't coming in with the best of form. Unfortunately, West, the second side to go 0-3 there.
First side to go 0-3. No, it was lost first.
It was lost first, yeah. So, second side. And yeah, Melbourne, obviously, after their Golden Point win, which I don't think they didn't, not that they didn't deserve it, it was just not the best Melbourne performance. Like, I thought Para could have won that game if they held on to a bit more ball. So yeah, if there is a time to get Melbourne, it could be potentially this week, although like you said, I don't know if Bellamy would have had too many kind words for them and probably would have given them a rocket or two this week, so I'm expecting a bit of a bounce back from Melbourne after conceding 38, as we said. But look, if the Tigers can go halfway, 19 points, defend well, that just goes a long way towards a win there.
We've got to get a win at some stage.
Exactly, that's the thing.
It's got to happen.
Melbourne already have one.
It's got to come soon, and
Munster back is not the best of signs.
yeah, not really. And I didn't see that before I went and
maybe first game back.
You on the betting.
Yeah, maybe first game back. He's not looking his usual self for you guys' sake, but yeah, we've gone with the same bet this week, the same tip. Look, it's a bit of a desperation sort of call, but
Tigers,
the value's there. The
1 to
value's
12.
there.
It's got to be 1 to 12. I always say if we're going to win, we're not going to win by lots. You had it in there, $4.20. I thought, fuck it, why not? I don't really want to back against my team.
Look, I just don't know if Melbourne are playing the best footy at the moment at $4.20, and
It's good value.
the value Melbourne were offering, it's like you can't find anything on them really unless you go friggin' 13 plus into like 3 different try scorers. Then you're bloody calling the whole game. Just keep it nice and simple. West 1 to 12, $4.20. It's a good number for anyone out there that sort of indulges in a little bit of the Mary Joanna, but
The wacky tobacco.
yeah, looking to bank that $4.20 early on Friday, and then we can get into another local derby.
This
Um,
could be
Last week was
a game
South.
for the ages, eh?
Last week was South versus Roosters, which is obviously that storied rivalry in the game we have. But this one could be the new one on the block with Wayne Bennett's Dolphins up against Kevy Walters' Bronx. Now the old master versus one of his
The master
many
and the
apprentices
apprentice,
over the years. I believe Kevy was under him as at some stage coaching. If not, Wayne was like a consultant for Queensland when Kevy was coaching or something like that, and obviously coached Kevy at the Broncos there, Queensland and Australia, I believe, for many years. So got the Broncos absolutely blowing us off the park in that last 10 minutes last week, and the Dolphins, who would have picked them to be 3-0 at this stage?
Yeah, God, it's
Actually, did he get off?
oh,
Kafusi.
I haven't seen
Gafusi, I
anything,
believe it's
yeah.
pronounced, with a G.
What you need to know out of the round. Oh, that's a little video. We don't want to be watching that right now.
Slow on the old intranets.
Let's have a look. I bet you last time.
But like we said, the Dolphins ended up coming away with that 13+ win with the final play there, and young Qatar and O'Sullivan in the halves there, looking like a good matchup. But I do think man for man, Brisbane probably look like the better side, and if they can stay out of those sort of Wayne Bennett mind games and stay out of that sort of usual cliche saying of don't get dragged down to the opposition's level, I'm sure the Bronx will come away with a good win in this one. But if they do manage to drag them into those mind games, make it a bit of a feisty affair maybe, I think the Dolphins will be a good shout. And this one, make for some great Friday night viewing.
He's named, yeah.
Cool. So he got off as.
I can't open this thing and it won't. This will tell you whether obviously he got off. They wouldn't have named him.
Yeah, he would have got it downgraded to a fine.
Yeah,
based
good
on what we saw last night on 360. That's fair enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Compared to that Suaalii he hit. That's really cool. That makes it a much more interesting game with the Dolphins' main enforcer there. He'll be
been so good, hasn't he?
He'll be the one that is key in, like I said, dragging the Broncos into that sort of shit fight that they might not want to get into with the talent that the likes of Ezra Mam, Reece Walsh, Selwyn Cobbo. Like, if they get into open space, I don't know if the Dolphins are going to match them. But if it's a nitty-gritty affair in the middle and Kaufusi and the Bromwich boys and, Gilbert, the rest of those Dolphins forwards can get in that shit fight and hang in there with the Bronx, it'll be a good game.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. I think it's a new rivalry that we're going to get to see here in the Brisbane rivalry. The first game that we're going to get to see these two come up against each other, obviously. Brisbane wanting to show the Dolphins that Suncorp's their home.
Yep.
Not the Dolphins' home, and they were there first. And I think it's an awesome way to finish off your Friday night. It's going to be an awesome. I can't wait to see how this one unfolds. And
100%.
I can see we've gone slightly different this time around.
Yeah, either side of the fence for us, I reckon.
Now I've picked the Dolphins to take the win. I just like a fairy tale. I like a bit of a narrative, and I'd like to see this continue on a little bit further. So Dolphins to win 1-12, $4.50. Pretty good value there, I think.
Look, to be giving better value than West 1-12. Obviously Brisbane in better form in Melbourne there, but that is a good bet. I like it. Come on, the Dolphins. But my bet does say otherwise. I've gone probably with my head rather than my heart, as you have done in this one. Brisbane to win into Reece Walsh.
Reece Walsh.
Reece Walsh, not Weiss Walsh. Although that would be an interesting fella to get yourself involved with. He's going to cross the stripe for the third week running. To be confirmed.
We'll
Have a look above. I'll edit it in for you tomorrow once the odds are out. But it takes us on to another Queensland derby.
$3.98.
Yep, $3.98. Thanks.
There you go. I'm gonna predict each one that we don't have, and we'll see how close I am. But like you said, another Queensland derby to start off your Super Saturday. Not actually. Can you call it a Super Saturday when there's only 2 games?
Oh, is there 3 on Sunday?
3 on Sunday because of that Warriors game. So that's at 4 our time.
4.
That's 6
okay.
and
Okay.
So is it just a standy Saturday?
Standy flat.
Saturday footy. Not really too standy when you look at the 2 games we've got going on, but another derby, and the Cowboys up against the Titans. Excuse me. Another Queensland derby, like we said. 2 teams. Cowboys not really finding that form that we saw from them last year. Coming off the back of a big loss and a sneaky little win there, round 1, and a big loss there against the Broncos, obviously, in that first Queensland derby that we got to see. And the Titans coming off a win for the ages. Made the Storm become, I think that's the 4th highest score.
4th highest.
4th highest score scored losing, I believe.
Right, I thought you had said the other night 2nd, so I got down there 2nd.
Oh, maybe it was 2nd.
2nd,
I didn't see that actually. 34 points. Surely there's been a couple more nutty games like that over the years, you know? Yeah, exactly.
Not that one springs to mind, but yeah, bizarre.
Well, the Titans
game
had a
of
game
rugby
in there as well where they lost something similar to, I can't remember who it was. The Knights, maybe. like 38-36 or something like that. So, but yeah, a big derby game, and the Titans probably coming into this one thinking that they're able to go out there and get anyone really at the moment. To take the Storm off and to score that many points against them like they did, it takes some doing. And then, to come up against the Cowboys team who aren't really finding any form whatsoever, they've got to be pretty excited, I'd say.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, North Queensland, like, the Cows, they haven't started anywhere near what we thought that they could deliver and what they brought last year. And the Gold Coast, I mean, I'm sure there were a few tipping them to go better this year, but last week they were pretty poor against us. So, bit of a mixed bag for them this year, A good performance at Leichhardt, maybe also complemented by a shit one by the Tigers. Same thing against Melbourne, was it? Or, I don't know, I didn't really catch too much of the game.
It seemed to be a little bit of both, I reckon, but the Cowboys seeming to be pretty consistent in the terms of not being able to get up as much as they used to.
Yeah, for their sake, hopefully they can rediscover some of that form. I mean, they've still got the same team there, so I don't know what's stopping them.
It wasn't all Tommy Gilbert.
Yeah,
that's
surely
for sure.
not.
And that's all of that is lent into my bet for this week. I tried to pull one of these off a couple of weeks ago. Don't know what game it was. But tried to pull it off a few weeks ago. The old game will go to Golden Point. $17. Now, you don't really get much better value than, and that's not the right word. You don't really get much more back for your buck than $17 often.
On a single thing in a row.
So Golden Point. Now, we saw that the Titans in the Storm game took it close. We've already seen the Cowboys win a game by field goal.
By a single point, yes.
So I've added those into the equation. I've typed it on into the calculator, and it's sort of come out equaling Golden Point is what I'm feeling. So
Cowboys plus Titans equals Golden Point.
Yeah, why not? Let's give it a go. We've already lost a bit, so if we can get a win here, it's going to do me well.
Pretty much take you back to
about even.
Flush, about even, not bad there. I've gone as well for a close one, but I do think the Cowboys will get the win. It's not delivering as much value, obviously, but Cowboys 1-12, $2.85. Do what you will with that. Whether you take it and run or whether you take it, laugh at me and jump on Nat's Golden Point bet, who knows? Yeah, and that leads us into our second game of our Standy Saturday. But it's a bit of it's not a standy game. It should be a great game.
Not too many standy games this week, to be fair. Seems to be quite a few good matchups on the cards. Now, South's up against Manly, and a Manly team who seem to look the goods again now that they've got Tommy Turbo back in the squad.
Yep.
Brings a bit of a morale boost to the rest of the lads, I think. Sitting there pretty happy at 3-0. I think pretty much every Manly fan will be happy with how the start of their season's gone so far.
100%.
No injuries yet to the bastard either, so...
8 points on the board, three wins and
No.
2-0 maybe.
Oh, yeah, there'll be 2, yeah.
2-0 and a bye, so
Not 3-0.
6 points.
Yeah.
I've got it down there as 3-0, so that's my bad as well. South's 1 win and then coming off the back of a couple of losses the last 2 weeks there, but to be fair to them, up against the Chooks and Penrith there, so two tough sides.
Yeah, 2 tough games to be coming up in.
Yeah, like you said, man, they have been very impressive with Tommy back in the mix, and that shouldn't really be any coincidence, really.
No, not really. I think everyone had sort of been saying it for a wee while. You saw how much they missed him last year when he was out, and we've seen that before. And to have him back in the squad there, it sort of, like I said, brings a bit of a morale boost. But obviously also the ability that he has, and what he is like as a footy player. So they'll be really stoked to have him back. And I think South, you've got down here an equally impressive throbber. There's no denying that. Old mate Latrell.
Yeah.
We know what he can do when he's on his game. That's for sure.
What a matchup we have with the fullbacks, eh? The New South Wales centre pairing going up against each other
At fullback, yeah.
at fullback. So yeah, it'll be a good game. Two sides probably hoping for probably that latter end of the top four there if they can have good seasons. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure you can mark both into the 8 as long as their star men stay fit. So yeah, what a game. Should be a close one. South's at home. Manly with the confidence of a couple wins. Who knows how this one's going to go. Although I see we're both going with the exact same tip again.
I've gone for the old same here.
Hard to go past it.
Yeah.
The only one that brought me any value last week.
You had it there, exactly. It was the exact same, isn't it?
Yep, same
Yep,
one as
Manly
last
1 to
week.
12 into Tommy Turbo again, to be confirmed. Have a look up above here. I'm not too sure where it'll pop up.
What's your guess?
I don't know.
$4.80? $5?
I'm gonna just be slightly.
It was like
sneaky.
$5.50 against.
What were they just fucking?
If you refresh it, it could be. Actually, no, it's not out yet. What are they to win?
1 to 12.
$3.50.
I'm gonna say.
That's probably going to look more like $6.
Yeah, I'm gonna say $5.50.
Yeah, similar to last week.
$5.50. I'm gonna say on the dot. For Manly to win 1 to 12 and Tommy Turbo to get himself a meaty.
Yeah, I'll be happy with that. If it brings me some more money,
Yeah.
like it did last week.
Seal off your Standy Saturday with a win and
Into Super Sunday.
Super
Maybe
Sunday.
they'll be calling
Yeah.
it.
Now the early kickoff for those over in Australia. A nice 4 p.m. kickoff for us here in New Zealand, and the Warriors welcoming the Doggies to Mount Smart here, and not the nicest to see the Warriors playing the way they are for me.
Yeah.
I've got to say.
I know you hate to see it, and probably hate even more to admit it, but yeah, they look like they're a pretty good footy side this year, the Wars, and
They're playing some good footy, and as much as I'd like to see them take the spoon, I definitely don't see that happening this year.
no, not with the home
I don't know if
advantage.
it's their year just yet. I know they like to say that. I don't think it's their year just yet.
Look, I don't even know if they will make the 8. They might be around that 7th to 10th spot, I reckon, and if they can pull off a couple of those close games that they might not have done in previous years, who knows, they might end up playing in September for a week or two, but yeah, you're right, it's probably not their year. But looking very impressive up there in North Queensland.
Look really hot.
Yeah, they themselves were 1 game off the grand final last year, so if you're taking it off that form, but you probably can't, as we said. The Cows not looking their usual selves from last year. Up against the Doggies, who, for what, 55, 60 minutes, were looking really impressive.
Looking really good.
Up against the Tigs there, and what were they, 26 to 6 ahead. 5 minutes later, West had crossed the stripe 3 times for 16 points, and you're only behind by 4 chasing the game. A couple more errors in that last sort of 10 minutes there, just falling short for Wests, stealing that one away from the Doggies. But yeah, is that some worrying signs? We know the West, I guess, troubled the Doggies when they started to throw the ball around maybe a bit more, with a bit more catching the fucking thing.
Holding on to the ball,
you know,
I think, was a big part of that. But
if the Warriors can play that, up-tempo, throw the ball around style of footy, do they cut through the Dogs again, as we saw last week? Who knows? But again, Dogs looking like they turned a little bit of a corner from recent seasons, and a new coach under the helm. It's, I guess, the battle of the old Penrith assistants, this one. Webster up against Serraldo. So, yeah, but home advantage for the Warriors as well. Make it tough for the
That's what I think is going to play a big part. Is
The
this
doggies.
home advantage? I think Sunday they're going to get a good crowd down there.
Yep.
The Waz, it'll be. I don't
If
know
it's
if it'll
good
be
weather,
packed,
I
but
think it'll be pretty close to packed on a
Yeah.
Sunday arvo there.
There'll be a lot of people there. I think the home advantage, like we've said a few times about the Warriors for this year, I think is going to play a huge part in the way that they play their footy. I don't rate it. That's for sure. It's a tough one for me. This one, I've had to go for a heart bet over a head bet here, unfortunately.
Yep,
That's
that's all right.
I've actually just seen. I don't know if it's just maybe the phones. Maybe the app comes on a bit quicker. But we've got try-scorer markets up here, so I've actually just gone and had a look, and it's only gone and added them all together. So we might just stick with. Oh no, there you go, $6.14 for me. Now I haven't given you what I've gone for. That is $6.14 for the doggies to win by 1-12, and Jacob Carraz to get himself a meat pie. $6.14. My head says the Wires get the win, but my heart says the doggies, and I've got to go with them. They beat our bloody Tigs last week. They can only go out there and do it against the Warriors, surely.
Yeah, to be fair, this one is probably going to be a lot closer than most Warriors fans might be expecting. The doggies, they'll be a tough side to roll over, even if it is here in Tamaki Makaurau. But I've gone with the Warriors to win into one of our men from the team of the week, Marcello Montoya, there to cross the stripe. And what's that going to bag me?
$2.95.
$2.95.
Nothing too
Nothing too
flashy,
special.
but
I'm going with the favourites. So
nice and safe, exactly. So
that's what you get when you go with the favourites and then multi it into one of their try-scoring wingers. You get a bit of a safe but hopefully sound bet there.
yeah,
To
I
round
like that. Yeah,
To start off, your Sunday afternoon.
Super Sunday.
And that will take us into a little bit of a limbo game, I guess, from our point of view. Newcastle up against Canberra. I mean, this one, Canberra played well last week, I thought, but it does have the potential to be a bit of a shit fest, I reckon. But these games can always surprise you.
Yeah, they can. I think, Newcastle, obviously they've been a little bit peppered by a few injuries there, missing KP.
That's the big thing as well.
A big thing there for them.
They look like they did struggle, particularly on attack without him. Worrying signs if they are sort of relying on him a bit too much, and if they've just got Hastings and Gamble in the halves there, I don't know, sort of Hastings does have a good moment or two in him, and so does Tyson, but they certainly don't have the X factor that old mate KP does, and so I guess it's hard to sort of fully rip into them after that loss to the Dolphins last week without their main man.
Yeah, it is a bit tough having
The
him,
Dolphins
obviously.
are playing good footy,
Exactly, so it is a bit rough on them, but Canberra obviously managed to get their first win.
Yeah, stoked to not be the third team to be
Get out of that
0-3.
cellar there, and I thought they played quite well up against the Sharkies. Maybe you didn't see the best of the Sharkies. Again, it seems to always, usually the way it goes when you win or you lose, that you've played well and you've deserved it, or maybe you haven't seen the best of the other team, and maybe we didn't see the best of the Sharkies, but I thought the Raiders looked good. They managed to finish it off. A couple of nervy moments there, obviously, near the end of the game, and I think Ricky Stewart was a little bit worried maybe it was going to be a bit of a repeat of that game up against the Cowboys, and Sharkies come away at the death and pull it off, but I think they'll be stoked, to get the win, and probably get it at the right time coming up against this Newcastle team here. No Ponga, not named.
I don't know, this one's not loading. Let's do a refresh. Oh, there we go.
There we go. I don't think, I can't remember whether I even scrolled down that far.
No, he's not.
But that's the thing, obviously, Lachlan Miller was
Young's out as well.
Oh, so yeah, it's a bit rough on the old bastards, eh?
still got a decent side there. Like, yeah, I don't know. Newcastle, it's it's a buzzy one. Yeah, like you said, Canberra they played well. And like I mentioned last week, I think the Sharkies haven't pulled off a win against Canberra for a few years now. So no matter how well they're going, the Sharkies, but yeah, they probably didn't deliver their best, particularly defensively. I think, first round conceding 27 odd to Souths there, and then 26 to Para, and then another 20 odd to Canberra on the weekend. Yeah, I mean, you can say all you want about Nico Hines being out. I don't think he helps their defence an awful lot. He's a good defensive player, sure, but
it's not going to have the impact that someone else.
I don't think defensively he's going to be a 20-point swing for them. But yeah, look, tough one on a Sunday afternoon. I guess this is the sort of game that Newcastle, Canberra, they'll need to be picking these ones up if they want to be in with a shout for the 8, because, yeah, Savage injured for the Raiders, Ponga injured. We can see what an effect sort of X-Factor man does have on the side if you do have them out.
It could be one of those games that's a 12-10er, an 8-6er.
Yeah, penalty shootout.
But we've both gone fairly similar again.
Yep.
You've gone Canberra 1 to 12.
Canberra 1 to 12. That's going to get you $2.80.
We're giving you $2.80.
Now, we spoke about him as an honourable mention for the team of the week. Big Red. Looking to back up a try double.
Yeah, with another try hopefully, and I've chucked them in there.
Multi that in together.
$13.29. So
pretty good value.
Pretty flash there. You've got to be pretty happy with that one there. $13.29.
That'll pay for your hot dog and a beer.
Yeah, exactly. Beer and hot dogs. So get yourself involved in one of those if you can. If you're if they do them again, if you get a win. Leads us into our last game for the round, a game you'll be looking forward to seeing, and it's well, maybe not as much now that you've seen those team lists.
Yeah.
But your Drags up against the Sharkies.
Yeah, look, we've seen a fair number of local derbies in the recent weeks. This one, technically another one, with Cronulla right on St George's doorstep there, and yeah, I mean, I'm probably not looking forward to it as much now that I've seen Hines has been named. But if you would have asked me 4 weeks ago, I probably would have said this one is just like write it off now. Like, we're going to score bugger all points and they're going to score heaps. But we've started the season a lot better than everyone would have expected, and like we just said, the Sharkies definitely haven't started the season as well as everyone would have expected them, a bit like the Cowboys as well.
Yep.
Two of those sides who did really well last year but slow starters this year. But I guess if you do want to cut the Sharks a bit of slack, Nico Hines has been missing.
Yeah, we can cut that next nut you've got there out of it. He's obviously back in action, and we know what impact he has on the team. Dalian winner. So coming back into that team there, and just, I think that's really got a bit of a turbo effect, that morale boosting.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Effect on the team there.
They've looked a lot leakier in defence without him. Like I said, he might not impact that much on defence, but if he's raising the boys' spirits by that much, maybe it does make that impact that the Sharkies need to click into gear, which it's worrying if you're a Dragons fan, but I'm hoping that the lads can bring a little bit better than what they showed in that second half, particularly last 10 minutes there up against the Bronx, because, well, up until the 70th minute it was 18-all. So, say what you want. First half we were bloody good, and we were good up against the Titans. So definitely a bit different to what people were expecting. But it's going to be hard to go past Cronulla in this one. This one is definitely a bet I've done with my heart rather than my head. I've just gone Dragons to win. Leave it as simple as that. $2.40. I believe it's going to rake you in.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go for it. I was going to change it before once we'd seen the team list, but I'm going to do a little switcheroo. I had down Dragons to win 1-12, bringing me in $3.50. I'm going to do a swap around. I'm going to chuck the Sharkies in there, 1-12. I think Nico Hines. As much as I'd like to see it for you, the Dragons can pull off the win. I'm going for the turbo effect. I'm going for the morale boosting bet to finish off my week. And Sharks 1-12, $2.80.
$2.80.
So,
I mean, we're going to have to play well to run them that close, I reckon. But again, like we've said, we've got the home advantage. Yeah, who knows what might happen on Sunday afternoon there. Hopefully we can see the Dragons get up for my sake. But that leaves us with the Chooks, the Roosters.
picking up the 2 points for the bye.
Yep, free 2 points this week. I thought they were pretty good without being their best.
Yeah.
Without being what we saw out of their premiership winning sides a few years ago. But nonetheless, picked up the win. It's always going to be tough to play blistering footy and blow a side away in a tough derby game like that. It's not often you see it. So yeah, good on them. Managed to come back into the game after a slow start as well, which, as worrying as it is for the Roosters starting team, once they brought Brandon Smith and Warrior Hargreaves off the bench there, it was a completely different ball game. So who knows? Hopefully they'll be coming back prime and fresh off this bye to inflict some more pain on Para to leave them 0-5.
Yeah, exactly. Fingers crossed if that could be the case. 0-5. If we're still 0-5 at the same time we come up against them, battle of the spoon.
Battle of the spoon, rough one.
But probably wraps us up. Not a nice way to wrap up our NRL for the week. Let's talk about the Tigers getting the spoon. But it's time to switch our focus over to a little bit of Arsenal and bit of a mixed week, unfortunately for us. Getting dumped out of the old Europa League on penalties Friday morning for us our time.
Yeah, it was a bit gutting. Obviously would have loved to win and keep going and have a chance to pick up another trophy if we do end up getting that elusive Premier League, but I think it also in hindsight raises our chances of lifting that Premier League trophy at the end of the year.
Bit of the old blessing in disguise, isn't it?
That's what everyone's been saying, isn't it? Yeah. It means that we don't have to squeeze quarterfinal, semi, 5 games, an extra 5 games into the last couple of months of the season, which even then you're looking at a game a week in Europe, and squeezing the last 10 games in the Premier League it'd be tough on those players. So that's the other thing. We get to rest that bit more in between Premier League games,
which is probably what we need. You know, we saw a couple of injuries occur in this game, and maybe it comes at the right time for us that we can rest a few players. We obviously have a big break coming up. We've got the international break, and because of us being out of Europe, we do miss the opportunity to play a game. We get that extra rest there. Now, looking at the game as a whole, I thought, we conceded a freak goal.
What a goal.
Unreal goal. You don't see that happen very often. Anybody chipped from just out the edge of the centre circle or whatever it was, So, and then we get to the penalties. I thought there might have been a couple of chances throughout it. We could have maybe steered away from penalties, especially during that extra time period there. But to lose on penalties, I think a little bit disappointed, especially with Ramsdale. I got to say, as a keeper myself, I think there's 2 that I would have saved, and even in those conditions, I think there's one that he got his hand to that he could have saved, and one that he it went directly underneath him. But he doesn't seem to. Have that fling from a penalty, you need to be on your toes, ready to go. And he seemed to be a bit flat-footed and a little bit slow off the mark. I don't know if he's trying to make sure that he's not penalised for coming off the line early or what it is. But hey, it's, like we said, a little bit bittersweet, but a bit of a blessing in disguise. And hopefully gives us that motivation that we don't lose anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I think the boys have spoken this year, Ramsdale one of them, about the hurt of last year, missing out on that Champions League spot towards the end of the season, and how it's left them in a better space to, I guess, bounce back from any minor setbacks and not turn them into major setbacks. And we've seen that evidence this season, and come yesterday morning or afternoon, if you're like me and had to wait till after work to watch the game, the mood was well and truly re-established in North London and around the Arsenal world, with a convincing home win up against Palace.
Yeah, really solid game.
Another London derby chalked off.
Yeah, another London derby.
9 from 10 wins, and then we drew with Brentford in the other one.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty bloody,
West Ham and Chelsea.
Pretty bloody good, that's for sure. And unfortunate to see Palace there without Big Pat Vieira leading the team.
Yeah, the Arsenal fans singing his name from the first minute through to the end.
So a little bit sad to see. But I thought, we managed to fucking put in a really good performance, I think, in this one. 2 goals there, that first half. We seemed to sort of dominate the play, I thought, through big patches of that game there, and a couple of good finishes. Nice to see Xhaka getting himself another goal in this one.
Xhaka was good. He's been, I think, he's had a great season, but he obviously started off the season in red hot form, and then possibly since the World Cup has gone a little bit under the radar, but a goal in the last 2 games, and he's really starting to pop back up in the box where we saw him earlier on in the season, which is good to see, and hopefully he can continue that form through our charge towards the Premier League title. But that charge is being well and truly spearheaded by a young man by the name of Bukayo Saka.
First player to get to 10 and 10 goals and assists in the league this year.
Yeah.
And just pick up another 2 goals for himself and an assist along the way on the weekend, which was awesome to see. And like you said, spearheaded by him. And I think the rest of those attacking threats that we've got there, Odegaard, Martinelli.
I don't think anyone had worse than like a 7 or 8 out there either.
Everyone
was really good. Ben White was really good, couple of assists. Rob Holding stepped into the side, and we didn't miss a beat really.
Trossard looking like he's a player that just fits our type of style perfectly.
He can play on the wing, he can drop into false 9, he can play up top, whatever, Odegaard pulling the strings as usual. We had a really good game, I thought, and it just shows that we can bounce back from
it's a different Arsenal team
and come out there and shrug it off our shoulders and take the pressure in our stride, rather than what we've seen over the last 10, 15 sort of years as Arsenal fans, where things have sort of got turned from 1 loss into 3 or 4 losses, or a loss or a couple losses and a couple draws. And we lost to, was it Man United, and bounced back straight away.
Yep.
Lost to Everton, and then was the next game Brentford?
Yeah, I think we had
that was kind of that little slip, and then might have had City after Brentford, bounced back after the City game. Who knows?
Now we just got to touch wood that no one picks up any bloody injuries over the next 11 days or however many days it is that we don't have a game for. I think it was 13.
International break, I think we come back 13 days from today on the Monday, 2 weeks time. So another one we're going to probably have to watch after work, unfortunately, with the school holidays not quite coming around in time?
No,
for
we
that
did
one?
have a little look-see at the games later in the season where if things go well,
We'll be tuning in no matter what. But
if it all comes down to the last game of the season, it's a bit of a rough one on a Monday.
yeah, I might have
But
to
it's,
just work from home and signing at like midday. And
None of that for
midday
me,
to 8 p.m.
unfortunately. None of the COVID teaching at home days, but
Yeah,
it might just have to be a very early one on a Sunday and get up at 3:30 and start my day. And off to bed at 6 on Monday
as
night.
soon as you get home, yeah. But I mean, into that international break, sitting 8 points clear on top of the table, 10 games to go, although we have played an extra one to City, so I guess you can potentially just call that 5 points clear still. But points on the board, I'll take it rather than the game in hand, because
Yeah, exactly.
anything can happen in that game in hand.
We've got the points locked in, which is the main thing. So
And we come back from international break and play Leeds at home. Is it? Home?
I think so, yeah.
And then they play Liverpool. So, all goes well for Arsenal. We could be looking at 11 points come that first week back into the Premier League. But we'll wait and see if that ends up happening. But that probably just about wraps us up in terms of the football there. As we take a little look
At what
at
turned out
the
to
cricket.
be
Yep.
an unreal test match, this one here. Pretty bloody hectic. We were talking about Helter Skelter in that Manly Hills game. I don't know if Helter Skelter is the right way to look at it, but hectic is definitely one way to describe it. This game was very full on, that's for sure.
Yeah, if you looked at it on paper, you probably would think, oh yeah, pretty easy win for New Zealand here. They've done it with plenty of time to spare, but look, it was not quite as dramatic as that one run and
No,
final ball of the fifth day.
no, not
victory.
like that, but
I'm not too sure how the weather went in Wellies today, but the forecast wasn't too good, so
it could have ended up being good
a
for us.
washout.
Yeah, exactly. So
and I think I tuned in yesterday about 4 o'clock, and Sri Lanka were 3-15 or 3-16 for 5, and I was thinking, shit, they're going to bat out the rest of the day. It's going to piss down tomorrow, and it's going to be a draw. But managed to end up getting that final wicket with not long to go in the fourth day there to wrap up the 2-0 series victory, which is good to see after some moments, I suppose, during the series where you might have thought, particularly in that first test where Sri Lanka had us under the pump, so good to come away with a 2-0 series win there. But I suppose the biggest shout outs of the game are due for Kano, reaching his 5th consecutive year with a 200.
Unreal, yeah.
So that puts him up there among, I think, 4 or 5 players to ever do that. And Henry Nicholls, otherwise known as Harry Nips, if you tune into the ACC's commentary there, under a bit of pressure in the side, and he delivered as well with the 200. So it's the first time in Test history that 2 Black Caps batsmen have scored 200s in the same innings. I'm not sure about same game, if it's even been done in the same game before.
That's pretty awesome, isn't
But
it?
same innings, it's never been done before by New Zealand. So yeah, good stuff, and particularly good for Harry Nips there to, I guess, respond to the pressure that's been mounting over the summer to drop him after a run of, I guess, subpar performances for his standards. So good on him for getting out there and hopefully silencing his critics with an awesome knock.
He had an
The
awesome
second
little,
100 came off 67
Yeah, I was about to
balls.
say that. He had an awesome little knock there for that second 100, and he just zoomed through after. I know we were out on the golf course, and
I think it would have been
so.
so much pressure, and then once he reached 100, he was just like, fuck,
Yeah.
I can bat now.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. If I'm out, I'm out.
Yeah, like, I've already got the 100, they can shut up about me in the papers now.
Yeah.
Like,
So yeah, the confidence would have helped, I think. But yeah, really awesome to see, and we now get ourselves into a little bit of ODI.
ODI
The
action.
whites go away and the coloured kits come out.
Yep, the coloured pajamas, as they say. But I don't know when the first one is. Maybe tomorrow? Tomorrow or Thursday night?
Thursday, I think.
Have a look.
We have to go down one more.
Let's load in. Saturday.
Okay.
So a bit of a rest for the lads. So we got a bit of cricket on
Saturday,
Saturday, which is
Tuesday.
good. Start at 2 p.m. after golf, although I don't believe you're playing this week, are you?
No, possibly not. We might be on
Off to the
we might
darts
be off to a
tourney.
little darts tourney. But we'll see how we go. But yeah, probably wraps us up for our cricket. We have a little brief check-in of the old B-ball, and unfortunate that the Breakers weren't able to do it.
Yeah, unfortunately can't report back with that
Yeah.
fourth or fifth banner, whatever it ended up being.
Coming up one short, but Sydney going back-to-back.
Yeah.
And a pretty good-looking Sydney side. One of the NBL MVP, actually, Xavier Cooks, signed to the Wizards.
Yep.
So good to see a little bit of down under action coming over to the NBA. Made his debut
Yeah,
as
cool
well
to
the
see.
other day, straight involved, and I think the first day of arrival. So see how he goes. But hasn't really, I guess he hasn't been there long enough just yet, had any effect on the old Wizards. Where we're still sitting outside that play in, play in.
Play in, yeah. Seems
Spaces
the team
here,
is playing
11th. So not the flashiest looking at the moment. We're sort of coming down to that nitty gritty. What's that? 71 games.
Yep, so 11 to go.
Oh, not looking good.
A couple of wins away from jumping back in, so it's going to have to be a good end to the season for the Wizards to make those play-in spots. But we've been jumping around all season, haven't we? So hopefully one more jump is in store for the Wizards there. But if not, I suppose you can jump on the next bandwagon. We're sitting a little bit prettier there up in 5th. Happy days. Although a loss to the T-Wolves today, which wasn't too good, conceding 140 points. Although I think it might have gone to OT.
Yeah, that's quite a lot. You're getting
Quite a lot. I didn't actually check
stat
on
pack
that.
in there, that's for sure.
But sitting at 42 and 31, so what's that? 73 games down, so 9 to go for the next.
Surely you can keep yourselves up there near that top end of the playoffs.
Hopefully we
Right.
don't end up with a too hectic of a matchup first round there. I think we're sitting looking at
Is that 1st versus 5th?
no, it's so 7th versus 10th play,
Yeah.
and then 8th versus 9th, and then the winner of those play, and then whoever ends up winning that. 7th versus 10th goes to play second.
Yep.
I believe, or maybe like if 10th loses, they play first.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So 4th or 5th, like we'll just play 4th or 5th.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's not.
I think.
See how it goes. See who ends up there with you.
Yeah, I think it's Kaz at the moment, which they're looking good as well. So fingers crossed, but look, we're pretty casual over here in terms of the basketball
Yeah. We've
viewing and
we've
following.
jumped on the old NBA 2K. We've recently gone out and bought that, and I'm
That's
gonna
what
say
got me into it in the
it's-
first place. So
exactly the same here. It's what first got me involved in having to get myself with the team. So, shout out to the 2K, and we're bringing it back with 2K23, and it's quite good. I'm enjoying it so far. Rocking the old fantasy draft there. A couple of big name players coming to the Lakers.
yep,
So it's nice to see.
quite a
but
team we've managed to put together, but
it's
that's
that.
a story for another
Yeah,
day.
exactly, and it's the part of the potty that you're all waiting for if you've made it this far. The darts, where we whip out our King of the Oki now. Obviously, quite a few upsets. Obviously, I don't know if that's the right word. Quite a few upsets in the darts in the Premier League last weekend. Now we had Dobie coming out to this big lead up against Michael Smith in the quarterfinals. I think he was 5-0 up and ended up winning 6-4. He then went out there and whitewashed MVG in the semi-finals, 6-0. First whitewash, I think, ever in the Premier League, or maybe just first. No, maybe that's not right. Maybe just the first whitewash this year. I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound right. No one was only just 6 legs. But yeah, 6-0 MVG, you've got to be pretty happy, especially when Toby's the player that everyone sort of says is the lesser of the 6, of the 8, sorry. but wasn't able to do it in the final. Gizzy coming away off the win, and then we had a couple of Players' Championships just finished up this morning, our time actually. One to that this morning and one the morning before. Gary Anderson and MVG. MVG coming away with the win yesterday, I think, and Gary Anderson taking the final today. But like we said, King of the Oche, what we're all looking forward to seeing. I said I was going to go for 3. I haven't. I've just gone for 4 again.
Yeah.
I've already placed it myself. Where is it? 1 pending now. MVG to take it out against Peter Wright. I think that's the game. It's the exact same fixture list as well to last week, which is a bugger. And I think that's what fucked us over last week. But MVG to take it against Peter Wright. Dimmy to take it up against the Asp. Gizzy to do it up against Johnny Clayton. And Michael Smith to come away after win up against Dobie. Surely he'll be looking to bounce back after his loss there. The odds are $303.77.
Whack you $10 on there.
Yeah, no
Not
more
only
than
are
10, no less than a cent.
Yeah, not only are you getting over to Raro, you'd be thinking about maybe splashing out on business class.
That's what we were saying, getting the old business class going. Or did I have that? I actually heard it on Talkback the other day. They were talking about Coro Lounge. Do you have to be a member?
You do, but if you go in there with someone that's a member, you can just go on.
But if you just get like flash tickets, do you get something like that or not really?
Yeah. If you get business or first, you get Coro Lounge.
Yeah, we'll be going to Coro Lounge and having a cup. Apparently they don't do self-serving anymore. You used to be able to self-serve and pour your own whiskies apparently and pour your own.
Yeah, when I went there, it was rimmed out. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been in there, so maybe we'll be going there and getting a fucking
like free piss, and they've got like
couple of pina coladas or something like that before you get in your flight to Rara.
trays of fucking like curries and like
Oh shit! Yeah,
fucking just
it's a
much
bit better
like,
than the old.
and then like dessert fucking platters and like all like fucking
Yeah.
you want a pack of chips with a plane, packs of chips, fucking cookie time cookies and wrappers, like
oh yeah.
anything that you'd want to
Get
eat.
me involved,
you know,
mate.
it's
Get me
so roomy,
involved
but
in a bit of fucking Coro Lounge.
Yeah, it's a bit of money if you're not flying all the time to get your membership. But if you do fly often, it works out to be pretty cheap. My boss was like, yeah, it ends up being like $20 a visit for me. Like,
Yeah.
because I fly for business fucking every 2 or 3 weeks. Like,
Yeah, get me involved in a bit of Coro Lounge. Come on, King of the Oche, pull it off. What did I say? $303.77. I'll be crossing my fingers for that one. That may be boosted, possibly. That might be the boosted odds, I think. Yeah, that's boosted odds. So I don't know what it is. Boosted, but
I'll use a boost.
Boost it. That's for sure.
Boost it, mate.
You don't need to boost it though as such. We've got till Friday morning, but definitely boost it.
Absolutely. But that probably just about wraps us up for this week. So as we usually say, if you've stuck around for the course, thanks for making it this far and listening or watching along if you're on YouTube.
That's not nice.
Shut up, Siri. We're saying thanks to the
Siri
listeners.
just said that's
We're
not
saying
nice.
thanks
I
to
just
the
said
viewers.
thanks.
We're not out here causing a ruckus, mate. So you watch it.
So yeah, keep your Siri out of it. Remember to like, 5-star, subscribe to the podcast.
Give us a comment, maybe.
Yeah, give us
What
a
about
comment.
a comment? Give us a share.
I've got a link there that you guys can leave voice messages if you want. So scroll
that's
down the
pretty cool.
bottom of your bloody description and chuck the link and leave us a voice message, and you might hear a little clip of yourself in the next potty, and it'll be like we're here yarning with you. So get yourself involved with that. But as we always say, enjoy the week ahead. Enjoy the footy to come. If you're having a punt, do so responsibly. Remember to tune in next week. Thank you very much.
See you there.
Ciao.
Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett. And the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.